Stoli Vodka is one of the world's most awarded premium vodkas. With a commitment to uncompromising quality since 1938, Stoli controls every aspect of its vodka making, from planting, harvesting the finest ingredients, to distilling and bottling. This process has been followed for decades to guarantee the consistency and quality and signature ultra-smooth taste in each iconic bottle produced. Isn't it time you picked up Stoli Vodka for a try? For those who know their vodka well, and themselves even better, Stoli, the vodka. Check out Stoli as the official vodka in Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. Enjoy responsibly. 40% alcohol by volume. Imported by Stoli Group USA, LLC, New York, New York.
Adnan Verk in for Trey today. It is Golick and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. As always, we are presented by Progressive Insurance. All of our phone guests on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Mike and I are loving the Winter Olympics. Right now, in fact, we're watching a little hockey. USA is facing Russia. And I did get a tweet here. Somebody said, all right, you got to give some love because you guys are big into the curling. And Canada, Caitlin Laws, in fact, and Canada winning in the mixed doubles. So they even have a hashtag going, hashtag curling is cool, which I think is a good idea, right?
Yeah.
People think of it as like, oh, what's that sport? Anyone can do it. But it's a cool sport. It's fun to do.
I saw the mixed doubles. I think the bronze medal last night, I think was, I want to say it was Sweden and the oar team,
Sure.
the Olympic.
Yeah, we got to find, Parada, when did this
Olympic
become
athlete
oar?
from
Why
Russia?
wasn't it just Russia? Now it's always Olympic athletes from Russia. Can we just explain?
Well, the Russian Federation was banned from the Olympics. Right. And then they basically were like, oh, well, we'll take the flag away, but you guys can compete. You can apply to compete just sort of as not really Russia.
Right, no Russian flag. Next to their name is the 5-ring symbol. It's not the flag or anything like that. And so, or.
Give it
Olympic
up.
Athlete from Russia.
Either or.
Okay. In bigger news, I just got a tweet here that Oreo and the owner of Oreo and Cadbury is hiring chocolate tasters.
That is bigger news.
It's my last day on Golick and Wingo. I'll tell you that much right now.
It's been great having you here, Mike. They did a sensational job.
I'm out. I am absolutely out.
What are the qualifications for that job, right? Do you like chocolate? Yes.
Me.
Are you
Do I like Oreos? Me. Chocolate tasters, chocolate on anything, me.
Right. Will you ever get tired of it? No.
No. You got me for life. I'd like to sign a lifetime contract, please. Wow.
And on that, P J Carlesimo is going to join us. I don't know if he's a big chocolate guy, but he's definitely going to be talking NBA and a little college hoops. He's going to join us about 7 minutes from now as we continue. Once again, we're getting a lot of voicemails here. You can call us at 860-506-5505, 860-506-5505. Ben Lyons, my man, ESPN LA 710. He's a better version of me. He loves movies, he loves sports, and he loves this show. So Ben felt compelled. You know, we did the Oscars together last year for Oscar.com, and he felt compelled to call in because he heard Mike yesterday. In case you missed the show, Mike was not a fan of The Shape of Water.
Golick, Ben Lyons here, ESPN LA. How are you, buddy? As you know, I cover the Academy Awards for Oscar.com with Adnan, and when he told me that you didn't like The Shape of Water, I have to say, as someone who listens to your show every single day, I was not surprised one bit. You're the guy who drove us across the street on campus in Bristol at the big talent meeting like you were auditioning to take over for Jason Statham in the Transporter movies. Why would you understand or appreciate the greatness of The Shape of Water? I want to know, Golick, is what's your favorite Statham film of all time? And do you think Statham would beat Jean-Claude Van Damme at the height of their powers in a fight to the death? Get well soon, Chris Stapps, Adnan. I'll see you at the Oscars. Golick, you probably don't even watch, so enjoy Notre Dame and Rutgers on ESPN2 or whatever you do. Later, fellas.
Wow. It's a guy I picked up hitchhiking to the talent meeting, got his thumb out to want to ride over there, and all of a sudden, you know, he's nailing me on a voice message that I don't understand. I understand it's a stupid movie. What is there to understand? I lose myself in more movies than anybody. Right. That was a stupid movie. I don't care about any meaning. You had a fish person and a lady who can't talk doing some dance, for God's sake. It was ridiculous.
He did really appreciate that he gave us a ride, though, that day.
Yeah, I bet he did. It was freezing cold out. As far as a Statham movie, you know what?
You are a Statham guy, for the record. Ben was right nailing that.
Loved him in the Fast and Furious. He and The Rock going at it a bunch. Right. Loved him in, what was it? Death Race. I loved him in Death Race. Go back to 2008, I think.
Okay.
You don't know that one?
I don't know Death Race. You stumped me on that one.
Yeah.
I know Death Wish.
That's a classic non-thinker movie, believe me, in Death Race. I did enjoy that.
Statham, like, he's cornered the market. Great action movies.
Right? I love him. I think he does great in the action. Great fighter in the action movies. Yeah, big fan.
All right. So
he and Van Damme, I'll go with Statham.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why not?
What about Statham versus The Rock?
Well, they went at it
Right.
a couple times. I'm going with The Rock on that. I'm going size matters on that.
The
one.
Rock is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So, Death Race greater than Shape of Water. We've clarified that
Without
here.
question.
At least for this
Yeah, at
audience.
least I'd watch it.
It's time for Off the Top
Whether you like it or not,
It's just beginning.
with Golick and Wingo.
So Chloe Kim became the youngest woman to win a snowboarding medal in Olympic history. A couple months shy of her 18th birthday yesterday as she took gold in the half pipe. Tonight, Michaela Schifrin and Shaun White will both go for gold. Schifrin looks to be the first back-to-back Olympic slalom champion, and White can join Bonnie Blair as the only Americans to win the same Winter Olympic event 3 times. I remember when Shaun White first went out there, Mike, flying tomato and all the rest of it. Some people didn't really respect that sport.
Right.
Bonnie Blair's an icon. The fact
Without
he's got a chance to
question.
do this, that's amazing.
Oh, I remember watching her in speed skating without a doubt. I mean, so first start with Chloe and what she's doing. How much did she dominate this? In her 4 runs, she scored over 90 points on all 4 runs. No other competitor scored over 90 points on a single run. She was absolutely dominant. The U.S., though, has been very dominant in the half-pipe medals than all the other countries combined. They have 18 of the 33 medals, and 10 of those 18 belong to women. So she's continuing a kind of a trend of domination
Right.
in that event. But 17, you have Red, our boy Red, who's a 17 years old. He won as well. So very, very cool. And then you go to Schifrin and what she's doing, already delayed because of the high winds as far as the slalom, right?
Monday and Tuesday,
or the
they're delayed
downhill.
twice. Yeah. So now she's going to compete tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday. I believe.
Right.
Giant slalom tomorrow.
And then you're right about Shaun White. I mean, man, I till I started seeing commercials for the games, I didn't even know he was going to be competing in it again. But boy, to match up what Bonnie Blair has done is pretty impressive.
People used to make so many derisive comments, saying he's like
Yep.
Carrot Top, and this isn't a real sporting event. Well, the guy's awesome. He dominates when
Absolutely
it comes to
awesome.
this event.
And watch what all these people are doing. I mean, the born of the X Games.
Yes.
We kind of didn't pay it much attention, but man, what they do and their ability of what they do is impressive.
No doubt about it.
Off the Top.
The Jazz came back from a 13-point deficit to beat the Spurs, extending their win streak to 10 games. Donovan Mitchell became the first rookie to lead his team in scoring during a 10-game win streak since Wilt Chamberlain for the 1959-1960 Warriors. Talk about a team and a player not enough people are talking about.
Yeah, 13th pick out of Louisville. By the way, Wilt Chamberlain in that 10-game win streak, he was averaging 41 points a game. 41 points a game. Mitchell is averaging 21 in this one, but very impressive in their win streak. Their win streak, they have beaten the Spurs twice, the Warriors once, the Raptors and the Trailblazers as part of that 10-game win streak. So they're still a game and a half out of playoff contention right now. Jay Crowder went over there in the purging of Cleveland. He had 14 off the bench, but Mitchell, some nice rookie play going on out there.
Off the Top.
Cavaliers visiting the Thunder this evening, seeking to avenge a loss from January 20th when Oklahoma City scored 148 points, the most ever allowed by a LeBron James team, as Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Carmelo Anthony combined to score 88 points in that win. But Mike, Westbrook and Anthony both questionable with sprained ankles tonight.
Yeah, so that would obviously deter a little bit from the magnitude of this game if those guys are out. Second game with the 4 new players from Cleveland after the destruction they had of the Celtics. But what's interesting, just how bad has it been for a LeBron James team? In the last 2 months, his teams have given up the most points in his career. Three of the top 4 have been in the last 2 months. 148 to the Thunder in February, 135 to the Wizards, and in January, 133 to the Raptors. So they gave up a lot. It was awful in Cleveland. Colby Altman going to get that executive of the year for the moves that he pulled, depending on how this team can finish up.
No, but it's funny. People are criticizing the roster makeover, but then he just completely reconstructs it. And as you said, he could be executive of the year, but it all works out.
Off the Top.
And one more for you before we get to P J Carlesimo. Trae Young and 23rd ranked Oklahoma seeking to snap a 6-game road losing streak. 7 Eastern tonight. Sooners visit number 7 Texas Tech, and a victory against the Red Raiders in Norman. Young shot a season low 30% from the field, but recorded 27 points and 10 assists.
Yeah, lost 6 of their last 8. Haven't been going well there, but they do well against ranked teams. And as Adnan mentioned, Texas Tech is number 7. The Sooners are 6-2 against ranked teams this year. And oh, by the way, Trae Young can sweep his father's alma mater, his father Rayford, went to Texas Tech, so we can sweep that tonight. But Texas Tech, you look at the rankings now, and you see some of the, haven't heard a lot, haven't seen a lot. Cincinnati's sitting there at number 5.
Yes,
right now at 23-2. Texas Tech at 21-4, sitting at number 7. So it's going to get real interesting as, again, we started this like in football where you get the rankings halfway through the season. We're starting to get what is deemed the top 16 in basketball as discussion points each week.
No, you're right. And before we get to P J Carlesimo, just for those who are unaware what Death Race is all about, as was I, IMDb's description is ex-con Jensen Ames, I'm assuming that's Jason Statham.
Yes, it is.
Forced by the warden of a notorious prison to compete in our post-industrial world's most popular sport, a car race in which inmates must brutalize and kill one another on the road to victory.
Can only be one winner. So the rest of the people, they have to die. And he finds a way not only to win those races, but I hate to, it's 2008. It's probably past the spoiler alert of how he escapes. It's pretty impressive.
I was going to say, it's been 10 years. Spoiler alert at this point.
So it's okay, huh?
Figure it out.
Yeah.
To the victor go the spoils. As ESPN NBA analyst P J Carlesimo joins us in the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Get the feeling of being rewarded with gold status at Shell with the Fuel Rewards program. Download the Fuel Rewards app, join, and start saving 5 cents a gallon today. PJ, thanks for coming on Golic and Wingo today.
Hey, V, what's up? Hey, Michael.
How you doing, PJ?
Well, we'll start with the
Very well, thank you.
We'll start with the Cavs, PJ. They changed much of that roster at the trade deadline. They dominated the Celtics on Sunday. Look like they're having more fun, younger, more athletic. What did you see, and can they keep it up, PJ?
I think they can. I don't want to overreact to one game. I mean, to me, it's more commentary on how bad the chemistry was with the old group and how much of a difference just guys being enthusiastic and wanting to play. Now, sustaining it is something else. I think the Eastern Conference continues to improve, but the fact that they're in the East and the fact that LeBron has owned the East for so long certainly makes you wonder. I got to see them play more. That you're talking, in some cases, people that haven't been in the playoffs before, haven't been under the kind of scrutiny that they're going to be in. But as always with LeBron, if they're close, he's good enough to get them over. I want to be respectful of what Boston has done really remarkably. It's lost in the shuffle. Talk about making a team over. They've only got 4 guys on their team that were on the roster last year, and, of course, Gordon Hayward goes down, and Toronto continues to improve. So I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not a believer yet.
As far as time, PJ, how much time do you expect for these players to kind of find their roles and that water kind of levels out on what this team is going to be?
Well, I think it's going to take a little time because Lou's got to figure out the rotations and guys have got to, who are going to be the main supporting people. And then, of course, what's kind of been not mentioned the last couple of days, Kevin Love's got to come back. Kevin Love's got to get healthy. Kevin Love's got to come back. I think people will appreciate him a little bit more when he does come back and when he gets back to playing the way he's capable of playing. I think he'll have more of a dominant role than he had earlier this year. So I like it. Rodney Hood's got to shoot the ball consistently, and he's got to be healthy. He's got to play on a regular basis. George Hill, I love. I'm a huge George Hill fan. I really like him a lot. I think Jordan Clarkson has got to prove he can do it on a winning team and under the scrutiny that he's going to face. I like Larry Nance Jr. a lot. His father's birthday's coming up, too, so I should give him a shout-out. But I like the team. I'm not going to be surprised if they are really competitive, but I've got to see it. You're talking unbelievable changes and I think a significant talent difference, particularly without Kevin Love on the floor.
PJ, you mentioned the fact Toronto improved. Right now, the 1 seed, listen, you know where my heart is here. Your boy, Dwayne Casey, changed the style of the team. Listen, they're passing the ball more. DeMar DeRozan's shooting threes. A really good young bench. In fact, the bench has played the last 5 games. Starters have been able to rest, and DeRozan and Lowry, Jakob Poeltl, Fred VanVleet, DeLon Wright. How are we looking when it comes to Toronto and them being the best team in the East?
Well, I tell you, my heart's there too. I love the year I was there with Jay Triano. Jonas to me is the question, and I love the moves. I think if Kyle's healthy, and playing the way he's capable of playing, and Jonas steps up, Valanciunas steps up, then I think they're, as good. Put the three of them in, then I think it's going to be unbelievable. I just have bad memories of series against Cleveland that I thought Boston or Toronto was ready to compete with the Cavs, and it hasn't happened. And, so Cleveland to me, what is it, the vampire? Like, you don't put a stake through their heart, it's not going to happen. So I just think, we're not going to know. It's a cop-out, but no one's shown me yet that they're capable of beating LeBron, even with this new team.
PJ, any issue with what the Warriors and Steve Kerr did, letting three of the players kind of run the timeouts and drop the plays when they were dismantling the Phoenix Suns?
No, I think it's funny. I've had them twice in the past 2 weeks. I think Steve's biggest challenge, off the court, they can't turn the ball over, and there's nothing's going to make them a good defensive rebounding team. But other than that, his biggest challenge is trying to keep things fresh for this team, Mike. I don't know if you were on teams that so few faces, important faces, changed from year to year. And it's the same coach, virtually the same staff, saying a lot of the same things to these guys day in and day out. And I really think keeping it fresh is a huge challenge for them. I think the All-Star break is good. They're staggering into the All-Star break right now. I think a lot of the teams, nobody anticipated, or maybe they did, I just didn't hear it talked about, what a difference spreading out the schedule, starting earlier, having a shorter preseason. I hope that hasn't impacted all these injuries we're seeing. And everybody was always counting the days to All-Star break, but nobody more than a team that's played to the middle of June, the end of June, the last 3 years. So I think they're going to get their batteries recharged. I think they're going to have only 20-some games. I just did Spurs-Warriors. I think one has 23, the other had 22 after the All-Star break. So that's a nice little period of time to get refocused. And so, no, long answer to your question, I think anything he can do to keep it fresh is fine.
Adnan Burke in for Trey today. It's Golick and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. We're talking to our NBA analyst, the great P J Carlesimo. But, of course, PJ can do it all. You called the college game last week, and, in fact, the crossover tomorrow night. You're going to be on the call for Kentucky and Auburn. I'll be in studio with Seth Greenberg and LaFonso Ellis. But you're with two of my favorites, PJ. Adam Amin, who is as good a play-by-play guy in our business, and Dan Dockage, who might be the funniest analyst going. How psyched are you for this event tomorrow night?
Unbelievable. It's a great game. I've done a ton of Pac-12 this year, which I've really been excited by. I live out in Seattle, too far from Scranton, PA, man. I want to watch my high school, Scranton Prep. They're in the district playoffs this week. But living out in Seattle, I've done a ton of Pac-12 and a ton of West Coast Conference. So I've seen the Zags and UW, Mike Hopkins doing a great job. This game tomorrow, people don't realize how good Auburn is. Bruce Pearl, again, has done an unbelievable job. They're playing without two starters from last year with all the FBI investigation. They're the best team in the SEC. Cal's lost 3 in a row for the first time, and unlike, I think, the people in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, I don't think it's a negative. I just think it's another commentary on what a remarkable job he's done over the years. They continue to retool it. They continue to have freshmen who are playing like freshmen this year. And, chance to lose 4 in a row, it's early, but if you look at UK's schedule the rest of the way, it's very difficult. They got Avery Johnson waiting for him after this one, Alabama. But it's going to be really, really fun game. I think it's going to be a tremendous game. I think Auburn is one of the most underrated teams in the country, so I'm really looking forward to it. The atmosphere in the building is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, you mentioned Avery Johnson and Bruce Pearl, two former ESPN guys back in the coaching world and doing big things. PJ, always appreciate the time, man. Look forward to the game tomorrow.
Thanks, PJ.
Hey, V, good being with you. Mike, good luck with that chocolate job.
Oh, thanks, PJ. Listen, there is no doubt I'll star in that.
Chocolate taster for what was the specific?
Cadbury, the owner is looking for a chocolate taster. So I am effectively putting in my 2 weeks here at ESPN, and it all contingent on me applying for that job and getting that job. But
sure.
But I think I could be one of the I think I could be one of the greats.
Well,
one of the great chocolate testers of all time.
Let's imagine I am doing the hiring. Mike, why do you think you're the right man for the job?
Well, because, Adnan, I love chocolate. I love any kind of chocolate there is. Milk chocolate, white chocolate, dark chocolate. Doesn't matter to me, the chocolate. I love chocolate, and I have that palate that can taste the differences in the chocolates, the highs, the lows, the good, the bad, the sugar, the not, the less sugary. And I think I could tell the differences and tell you what the masses out there would love to make you, my friend, to make you a lot of money.
Mike, I understand that, but we have a lot of people here who love chocolate. Do you ever get sick of eating chocolate?
Never.
You're going to have to eat chocolate for 12 hours a day.
I could eat chocolate 24/7, my friend, 24/7. I live it, I breathe it, I own it. I'm your man.
Mike, I believe you're a diabetic. Are you still available?
Yes, I am. That would probably stop me from doing this job. Yes, I
okay, well, thanks for coming in for the interview.
Type 2. Thanks for that. That pretty much ends that. I'll be remaining here at ESPN for the duration of my contract. Hey everyone, Mike Golick here. Support for the Golick Wingo podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. Rocket Mortgage is simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you're getting the right mortgage for you. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Mikes. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS, consumeraccess.org number 3030.
Hey there, I'm a glue stick, so I have one job. I glue kid stuff. So sorry for being jealous of Geico, who does a ton more, like give you 24/7 access to thousands of licensed agents. And Geico has been around for over 75 years and has a 97% customer satisfaction rating. While I've just got mediocre adhesive skills, Geico also has an award-winning mobile app. Uh-oh, arts and crafts time. No eating the glue stick, Miss Lydia!
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Adnan Burke in for Trey. Today we are Golick and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. As always, you can tweet the show. Let us know what you think, what we're doing so far. We've been talking about a lot of Winter Olympics, of course. We'll get back to that a little bit later on. But do want to shift gears here, Mike, and talk about a little bit of college football and how it pertains to the NFL, and that would be with our man Baker Mayfield.
Right.
Now, obviously a very polarizing guy. People that love him love his brashness and obviously his talent and the fact his ability, and he delivers. Those that don't like him think he's a little too cocky, a little too much swag. Here's a very interesting article from ProFootballFocus.com from Sam Monson, who's saying that Baker Mayfield's tape and numbers say he should be the number 1 overall pick. First that I have with him is that he's small, right? And they mentioned right away, okay, everyone's going to mention the fact, small guy. And here's the case. He was listed at 6'1", and weighed 216. So, okay, the big deal is, okay, if you can clear 6. Russell Wilson's 5'11", 215. He's never had issues. So before we get into the numbers, just to you, do you need to have a quarterback who's bigger?
Well, I mean, and again, he measured at a little over 6 foot, so he was under the 6'1", but 216. So he was right at it.
Right.
I think the way the NFL is going now, Adnan, where we're starting to see, we're not seeing, don't people start getting nuts? You're not seeing college systems in the NFL. But you are seeing some more college concept and or plays as part of NFL packages.
Gotcha.
And I think that's playing to the strength of a quarterback coming in. We're seeing a lot of quarterbacking in college that isn't necessarily the type of quarterbacking in the NFL, but instead of kind of the old-fashioned way of, well, we saw more pro style back in the day. Now we're not seeing as much.
Right.
And instead of bringing that quarterback in and saying, well, forget what you did in college, you are going to do this right now. They're starting to blend them a little bit and let them use some of the talent they had in college into the pro system with some of the play calling as well. So normally, you would say, oh, Baker Mayfield's he better be Drew Brees. You know, he better have the accuracy of Drew Brees, or he better have the versatility of Russell Wilson, or he ain't going to make it.
No margin for error if you're only 6.
Well, you don't, and that's not necessarily the truth anymore. Because of some of the concept that are kind of interwoven now in the NFL with these, and that comes down to the coach understanding the ability of his players and using that to his advantage. it's a good breakdown of Baker Mayfield from rating. You can't get too caught up in numbers because the one things you don't want to translate are numbers. There have been guys who had unbelievably high completion percentages in college that go on to the NFL, and it's a different type of completion percentage that we're looking at, from open receivers to where they're throwing to the tighter windows in the NFL.
Here's the biggest number that's eye-opening. His NFL passer rating when kept clean in the pocket, 143.8. That's more than 20 points higher than any other potential top quarterback.
Right. The one part about that I don't like is when kept clean in the pocket. Come on. We're not playing Madden football here. Getting kept clean in the pocket is tough. But I'll say when he's pressured, he does a nice job of moving. And the one thing I do like about him, when he moves, he's not moving to run. He's moving to make a play down the field. And that's the biggest difference. To me, running, unless it's wide open, unless there's man coverage and everybody is running away from you because they're covering their guy and you have, nothing but green pasture, I could see just taking off.
Right.
Other than that, man, scramble to make a play downfield to get the ball into one of your playmakers' hands until it's an open field or until the last minute. I think, because there's the comparisons to Johnny Manziel. I think Johnny Manziel would take off to run. When he got out, he'd run. Now, he did throw sometimes, but he looked to run. Baker tries to make a play behind the field or behind the line of scrimmage. So I would normally say he better be perfect, in what you do. Mm-hmm. But I do think they are kind of melding the two a little bit together. So he's really intriguing to me because Josh Allen has the best arm, but not the most accurate arm. And while I said I don't always look at a high completion percentage as automatic success in the NFL, I do look at bad completion percentage as a real red flag. And Josh Allen has bad completion percentage in college at 56%. To me, that is a monster red flag. I know he dropped a couple of nice throws in the Senior Bowl.
Right.
First half, he struggled a little bit in that game. So while he looks the part, there is no quarterback that looks the part like him.
Right.
But he and Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold, all have some question marks. I think Rosen is the most ready to go. Right. Throws the best. Now, there are off-field, does he really love this game, blah, 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 type of things that people want to get into.
Right.
Baker Mayfield, to me, is the most intriguing of throwing from the pocket, throwing on the run, playing in the Big 12. Again, name me a Big 12 quarterback. Name me a Big 12 quarterback who is a star in the NFL. A star in the NFL. Everybody's putting it on Pat Mahomes. We'll see. He's played one game. So we have no idea just yet about that. So there is still that, and there have been a number of them. But I am intrigued by him and how a coach, because it's going to be up to the coach.
Right.
I thought they did a nice job, Bill O'Brien in Houston, which could be a technical playbook of when Deshaun Watson first started for them, of running plays that were geared around his talent level.
Right. Fit
and
his
what he could
set.
do.
Right.
I thought they did a real nice job with that as you grow into that position. And it will be incumbent on an NFL coach to do that with Baker Mayfield, because he has that it thing.
Yeah.
He absolutely has that it thing.
Right. When you look at Josh Allen, I remember watching earlier in the season, Wyoming really struggling. He struggled particularly, and those who are supporters of him, Mike, said, listen, that team wasn't very good.
Lost all his receivers
correct.
from
receivers,
the year.
The offensive line stinks. So they,
Some
if they
drop
actually gave him an
balls.
offensive line, they actually gave him a good receiver to be fine. Pure power and velocity, he's the guy. And like you said, he looks the part, strong, etc. Darnold, everyone was talking about him potentially winning the Heisman, but then too many interceptions.
And bad decisions. At times he'd make that throw and you go, wow, and at times you go, where is he throwing the ball and why is he throwing it there?
Right, and so that was the issue with Darnold, though he did clean things up a little bit later on. Obviously, USC finished strong. You mentioned Rosen and his talent and prowess, and Mayfield is the one that you go, it's crazy, you're the Heisman Trophy winner, yet he feels like a wild card because of the size, because of the swag, maybe a little too much arrogance, etc. But when you go to these numbers, again, Pro Football Focus, then I'll only mention the fact when he's kept clean, but also under pressure.
Right.
His passer rating was 11.6, the only one of those top prospects to have a rating higher than 100 when pressured. And as you said, he's using his feet to make plays, not necessarily just take off and go running.
He absolutely is. The biggest difference is obviously going to be, the comparisons to Drew Brees. Is he going to be that accurate? The comparisons to Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson, is he going to be able to move like that? Russell Wilson, that guy came in, I know he was a third rounder, but man, was he from the neck, forgetting his athletic ability, from the neck up,
yeah,
he was a stud right off the bat. Baker Mayfield seems to do that, but Baker Mayfield seems to do his things on the run. Not quite Sandlot, like I'm just going to draw it up in the dirt.
Yeah.
I do think Baker Mayfield is a smart player, but it's a different ball game, picking up the defenses in the end. It all just magnifies so much with what's going on. So his escapability, how is it in the NFL,
right,
where D linemen can catch you in the NFL? Not linebackers, D linemen will be able to catch you in the NFL. So it gets a little bit different, but he really is intriguing to me. It seems like players gravitate to him. He seems to be a natural leader. I don't care about the flag planting and the game where it ends up. I don't care.
Emotional, right? You're fiery as a young
exactly
kid.
Right. That stuff is not saying, oh, you know what? I got to make sure he's cool before I. No. Right. I like what he does on the field. So he is intriguing to me. There's no shot he goes as a first quarterback. I don't think anybody would take that chance just on because you look at the other quarterbacks, they all have those measurables.
Right.
And while he throws the ball well and we can do all this nice number thing to say his numbers are the best,
right,
no one's going to do it. You can't tell me a GM out there that's going to look at that and say, you know what? I'm going to take him over Darnold, Rosen, and Allen. They're not going to do it with a 6-foot quarterback.
Yeah.
No matter what the numbers look like, and that could be a huge mistake. He could turn out to be the best quarterback of the group because none of those quarterbacks did any of those quarterbacks this season make you go, yeah, that's a can't miss guy.
No, exactly.
All of them kind of had their ups and downs. So, but he's not going to go first.
Todd McShay has him going 5th to Denver, of course. Makes sense. And then Mel had him 13th to Washington. That was before they got Alex Smith. So
that's not going to happen. And the 5th to Denver, I think he was the third quarterback to go then. It was a third quarterback.
Darnold will be first, then according to Todd McShay, Darnold, Rosen. So Darnold, the Browns, Rosen, the Giants.
He had Josh Allen going after him, after him to the Jets at number 6. So
right.
It will get interesting because now we get into the whole interview, shorts and a T-shirt. And I've stated my feeling many times on that. I mean, my God,
I love it. You can't.
All of a sudden, we forget that they played a season, and we watch that film. We're going to start watching him in shorts and a T-shirt, and we're going to come back from pro day and say, "Oh wow, 65 passes and he completed 64."
Right.
Whoop-de-doo. I mean, if he doesn't complete 64 out of 65 in shorts, we got a problem.
Right.
So, I mean, I think it's ridiculous. The more important thing to me is when these teams get him up to the grease board or in the film room and have him really start breaking stuff down. When he goes on a visit to a team, you see him that evening, you go over some of the playbook. What kind of recall does he have the next day of that playbook? How quickly does it lock into him that he can pick it up and make adjustments on the fly? That's the stuff I think you can learn. Now, I'm not learning. I'm sorry. I'm not learning anything, by all the stuff that goes on in the combine with these quarterbacks. I'm just not.
Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN2, presented by Progressive Insurance. All of our phone guests in the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Coming up, proof you never really truly know what you have until it's gone. Adnan Verk in for Trey. Today we are Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. We'll dive back into more Tri-A.
Yes, we will.
As you'll get to know me a little more.
Just to hear Jerry try and speak in either Canadian or Scottish. I don't know where he was going.
I think you know me pretty well. I think the goal of this now is just to hear Jerry's accent.
I agree.
As Mike Jr. said earlier, has he even met a Canadian?
Unbelievable.
He just has no idea what accent he's doing. But we have been talking to plenty of NBA today. Thanks earlier to P J Carlesimo for joining us. He's going to be a part of the crossover tomorrow. And we were asking PJ about the fact it is now very much a new look Cleveland Cavaliers team. And among the moves that Kobe Altman made, jettisoning Dwayne Wade back to Miami. And for Wade, it's interesting. We'll get into some of the stories we were hearing here from Dave McMenamin and some talk around him. But first off, here is Wade himself saying he had to leave Miami to truly appreciate it.
For me, and I think for the organization, I think for the city of Miami, by me leaving, I think we all appreciate each other just a little bit more. If I never left, I'm not saying they wouldn't appreciate me, but it wouldn't be the same. And I same here. I appreciate the city more. I appreciate the organization more. And I had to leave to figure that out. And the same thing, I think, from the city of Miami and also the organization. So, everything worked itself out the way it did for a reason, I believe.
Well, he's back now, but according to NBA Insider, Cliff all over loves Peter Vesey. Dwayne Wade sapped the team's energy and spirit. Furthermore, head coach Ty Lue believed Wade was the Cavs' biggest issue in the locker room. That's stunning to me. You would think this is a veteran player, multiple champion, good friend of LeBron James. Wade himself even revealed to Miami reporters that pal LeBron James would catch him watching Heat games in the training room and checking scores at halftime.
That's amazing. And he chose to leave to go to Chicago before he even ended up, in Cleveland. And that was more, between him and Pat Riley type of thing with the money being offered and such. But, we all thought it was Kevin Love's fault, right? Wasn't everybody pointing
Love's fault. Exactly.
Turns out Dwayne Wade was, as Kobe Altman said, we need more fountains than we need drains, which I thought was an interesting line. And obviously take with that from what you will with guys he got rid of on that team, including Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, our Cavs reporter, Dave McMenamin, does a great job. And he was saying that, things like LeBron James, if they lose a game, it would say on the practice schedule 11 a.m. the next morning. LeBron would be leaving the locker room and say, hey, Dwayne, see you at 9 a.m. tomorrow, right? Let's get our work in.
Right.
And Dwayne would say, nah, man, I'll be there like 10, actually. Maybe like 10:15. And there's nothing wrong with that, human nature, so to speak, but LeBron is kind of inhuman when it comes to his approach to the game. So this. The best at their craft are maniacal. They're obsessed with this. Like they won't take any margin for error, and Dwayne Wade wasn't at that same level as LeBron.
Well, I mean, and that's one thing you all want to be on the same page when you're going for the same goal, and there is only one goal when you're on a LeBron team, and that's to make it to the championship and try and win a championship. And it's something that Dwayne Wade, just that thought process right there can be along the lines of in football, as I've talked about, when do you stop doing that extra? When it become the norm? Do you normally show up, on your work days during the week at 7:00 to get your lift in? Mm-hmm. Do you stay after practice to watch a little more film, you with your group? So then at what point of the season, maybe do you not come in at 7? You only have till 8, right, before your first meeting? Right. So you come in at 7. Now you hit the weight room at about 7:30. You get half your workout in. Right. Now, if you stay after practice, you watch only a few minutes of film instead of a half-hour film.
I got it down pat. We played 50 games,
or no film. So you kind of say, and you're kind of at where others on the team are like, we keep doing what we need to do because the goal is the championship. And, so what does that cause in the locker room when everybody isn't pulling the same way on the chain?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think in the past, Mike, I would have thought, you've got to be fanatical and keep the routine. But I'm with you. I think if you're a professional, if you've done this at a certain level, and if you feel, I don't think it's cheating corners. If the meeting's at 8 and you feel like I can get, like you said, my lift in at 7:30 rather than 7, then I think that's smart, right?
Well, I mean,
I don't think it's being lazy.
Well, quite honestly,
you know your body better than anybody.
Quite honestly, I kind of meant it the other way. I kind of meant if you were doing that through the season, why would you stop? Would it mean something to me if all of a sudden you stopped doing it? Now, if your body's worn out and it was more a recovery reason,
right.
Listen, I can understand that. Right. But if all of a sudden you used to watch a half-hour tape and you're watching 5 minutes of tape,
gotcha.
Then
it's a preparation issue.
Is it just like, okay, I'm going to just show up a little more than put into it what I've been putting into it? Because that's what makes obviously the champions. And Dwayne knows this. He's been a champion. And I'm not sitting there saying he doesn't know what it takes, but everybody's human. So sometimes, you get to a point in a season or in a career where you're like, okay, I got this. I can do, just like you said, I can show up at this point and I can be just fine. Right. But in other people's eyes who are still wanting to get that championship, it's not like Dwayne Wade doesn't want one, but some people just go about it a little differently at different points of their career.
And that's fair. But for Peter Vecsey to say Dwayne Wade sapped the team's energy and spirit, and for Tyler to believe that Wade was the biggest issue in the locker room? That's shocking.
That's a tough call, isn't it? I was a little surprised at that as well.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Cavs are 2-0 since the trades. New guys only played in that win against the Celtics. What a statement win that was on Sunday. Obviously a big test tonight against the Thunder. We'll head to OKC in the next hour. Plus, a little more Tri-A. Adnan Burke in for Trey. It's Golick and Wingo, ESPN Radio.